was introduced to ferries as a little boy. There was a ferry on this property called the West Shore Division of the New York Central Railroad. It was the West Shore Ferry, and I used to take it. I used to sneak on it. When I was a young kid, we'd go to New York and Yankee Stadium. It was a nickel. My love affair with ferries goes way back. When I was able to buy the property, I realized that the property was isolated.
And there were junkyards and chop shops. He bought the parcel and then actually had to clean it up. My first trip down, I took a company car, and there was a bat in the back of the car, a baseball bat. When I got down there, I got lost between the piles of some junk that was accumulated. And I had to back up, and when I had to back up, I heard a noise, and it was one of the wild dogs on the site with his teeth on the tires.
By the Galaxy, and you went up the hill there, and from there south was just a dirt road to abandoned property. It was just like a big empty lot with dogs, and it was pretty wild down here.
I realized that this property really was as much part of New York as many parts of New York. It was closer to much of the most important commercial part of New York City as the rest of New York. And all I had to do was connect it by water. I started the process to get a ferry permit, and it was clear that New York City was not going to be very enthusiastic, nor even cooperative. The first meeting included 27 different people from New York City. New York decided, well, if I wanted to run a ferry, I could dock it at the landing, but then they would take jurisdiction once people got off the boat. Well, it was clear that they were not going to be friendly or assist. So it took 3 years and cost us almost $1 million or more, when $1 million was a lot of money. And we did get a permit eventually in 1986.
First boat we actually bought, we found a boat up in Warren, Rhode Island. We went up there, we saw the boat. It was called the High-Tech Express at the time. Arthur liked it and said, okay, now we got to create the ferry part out of it. He added all of his, it had to be first class, wood doors and stainless steel rails and everything else, and we wound up buying it and bringing it down, and that was the original Port Imperial Express. Over the course of the years, we've built, I guess, 33 boats now. The first 7 that we built were built down in Louisiana at Gulf Craft. The next 5 were built in Somerset, Mass, up at Gladding-Hearn. 19 were built up in Sitka, Alaska with Allen Marine, and the last 2 were built in Yank Marine down in New Jersey.
We had a dock in the marina for the ferry boats. Yeah, and
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then we moved to Jamestown, a little bit north, and then we converted that to the ferry terminal, and it worked out very well.
But Jamestown was the first terminal. Mr. Imperator had the idea that he wanted a terminal that had a nautical theme, and what better than a ferry boat? So he had me go out and research ferry boats that were for sale.
My most memorable event down here, of course, was the opening of the ferry system. That was really a challenge, and we were working right up to the
ribbon cotton.
To the minute.
The day they opened up, they carried several thousand people, and at one point we were carrying 14,000 people a day out of the Hoboken South operation.
To get people throughout the city, we set up various bus routes. A lot of people don't realize when we first ran the buses, we leased the service, and then we eventually bought our own bus. Arthur bought his own buses, and we started to run the service ourselves.
In the 80s, at one point, there were as many as 14 different operators. So most of them just disappeared, went by the wayside, and didn't have the longevity or the wherewithal or the commitment, that the Imperator family had to the success of the operation.
Saw so many people just stranded basically at the side of the waterfront. They were pushed up against the steel rails that surround the waterfront, and just more and more people were massing towards the waterfront. They were trying to get away from the burning buildings, Some were jumping in and trying to swim out of Manhattan. So as we were heading south, we actually pulled 2 people out of the water, and another one of our waterway boats pulled another person out of the water. This is the last thing you expect to see because your eyes are on the burning buildings, the smoke. All of a sudden you see people swimming in the Hudson River, which is, you never see that.
At least from where we were and where our terminal was, it was kind of controlled chaos. I mean, people were clearly coming to the boats. They wanted to get out of there.
They came, everybody came here. They had no other way to come to the city or to go out.
I saw it. I was on the phone up in my office and standing up, which I do sometimes, and I actually saw the plane come past and told the gentleman I have to hang up because I think there was a plane, crashing.
Once we left from New York, in about 3 minutes into the water, I saw the plane on the water, and I told my coworker, I told her, it's a plane on the water. It was a passenger sitting in front of us, and he looked at me like I was crazy. The captain he went straight to the plane, and you feel the engines of the ferry. People were coming out of the plane. They were standing on the wings, and you don't see the wings, you saw the water, and they were standing like on top of the water.
They were always ready, and when things happen, they react. That's exactly what they do, they react. It's something the employees of the company should be proud of,
Waterway always rises to the occasion. It always has, it always will. The secret to Waterway success is Arthur. It's easy, that's an easy one.
Without a man like Mr. Arthur Imperator behind the scenes, you're just not going to have success. One thing or another would have torpedoed this company long ago. I've seen a lot of ferryboat companies start and just poof, they're gone. We've enjoyed a great degree of success because of Mr. Imperator.
He creates this atmosphere that's conducive to productivity, work, but yet it's human. I mean, he cares about the people.
We care about what we do. We take great pride in it. We have rebuilt the company. We are the largest private ferry company in the United States, and we've operated by and large without a penny of subsidy. But we run an upscale operation. We save people lots of time. I'm 91. I have a lot of work to do, and I tell that to God and remind God that whatever his plans he should bear in mind. I'm not finished my work here. The company is in excellent shape. It's sound. I expect it will go on serving the public and doing the kind of work that has distinguished it, in my judgment, as one of the finest in the world. It tells you what good people we have in this great company. And I'm very grateful for that.